All right, I'd like to call to order the Public Works and Protection Committee meeting for the Village of Ashwaubenon, Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. Roll call, please.
Gary Paul.
Here.
Jay Krieger.
Here.
Kelly Service.
Here.
John Burnett.
Here.
Joanne Euclid. Here.
Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have no changes to the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve?
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, action on the minutes from the May 5th, 2026 Public Works and Protection Committee meeting.
Move to approve, there's no corrections.
Second.
Second, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6 for discussion and possible action. A, consider act on appeal of denied operator's license for Lyndsey Petersen. Chief. Or Wendy. Wendy, you first.
Yes,
Sorry.
thank you, Chair.
Sorry.
Lyndsey Petersen is appealing her operator's license application denial. The Ashwaubenon Department of Public Safety has recommended the denial of the application because it does not meet the requirements outlined in the operator license approval policy guideline number 1. In your packet, you would have received the correspondence I received from Lyndsey, as well as the original application.
Okay. Chief, can you kind of fill us in as to?
Yes, the application was denied based on guideline 1, which is covered in our operator's license approval policy. Guideline 1 says, provided the circumstances of the offense substantially relate to the circumstances of the job or licensed activity, any person who has been convicted of a felony, unless duly pardoned, does not qualify for an operator's license.
Okay. And when did these occur, Chief?
I think the felony was in 2018, was convicted in 2018.
That's not noted in here.
Way at the bottom of the page. Right here.
Oh, okay, I missed that. Well, if we have a felony against us, most of the time we have denied them. And that was in what year again?
2018.
2018?
So it was
Yes,
8 years ago now.
I think at 10 years, we kind of gave them a grace, if I remember right. So,
Gary, just as a recognition, this is an appeal to a determination of denial already.
Right.
So the applicant is in the room today to kind of appeal that decision, so that the application has been denied. It's up to this committee to determine whether or not the appeal in which the applicant is requesting is justified. And so I think there would be an appropriate opportunity for that individual to speak on their behalf.
I was going to say, I'll entertain a motion to open the floor.
so moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Lyndsey, can you come forward? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Lyndsey Petersen, 518 16th Avenue.
You want to pull that mic up, please?
Yeah, and you got to push the button there. You're not. There we go. We're all good.
Hi, Lyndsey Petersen, 518 16th Avenue, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54303.
Okay. Can you just kind of tell us, so this happened 8 years ago, kind of talk to us kind of about that situation and then what has happened since and what have you been doing since?
Well, excuse me. The felony was for marijuana, and I had some with me, and I got in trouble. And I'm sorry that it happened, and I'm not doing anything illegal. So I'm just trying to get a better job, better paid.
Yeah. What have you been doing since then? Since that was 2018, we're talking almost 8 years. What are the things that you've done since that time?
Well,
Work-wise and, yeah.
I worked at Crow's West for about 7 years. I really love my job there. Just been raising my daughter and just working and sending her to school.
Okay, you working anyplace else besides Crow's West, or is that?
Just Crow's full-time.
Okay, okay, all right. Anybody else have any other questions?
I said, what other things have you done to further yourself from falling back into some of those same situations you were in?
It was just a really bad time in my life, and I have, excuse me. I ended up going to jail for 60 days in Fond du Lac for that, and well, it really scared me. So, just been living a better lifestyle, spending time with my kids, and just trying to be better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've that was kind of a aha moment to kind of change yourself around here. So kind of what does your future look like? I mean, where are you, you're looking for this license to go forward. What are you planning on doing in the future?
Well, I plan to keep on working at Crow's. I really like working there, but then I also am hoping to do some bartending, and I think I can make more money doing that.
Okay. All right, anybody else have any further questions?
I guess the question I have, why do you stay in that industry with the record that you have, being alcohol around, other things that do pop up behind the bar? I don't understand why you do continue to do that rather than to look for another profession.
Well, I really like my job and the people I work with, and I never really worked a serving job until after all this happened. So before this, I had never worked in a bar setting, but it hasn't been a problem. I've been working there for about 7 years, so.
Okay, thank you.
I'm usually a hard knock for this kind of stuff, but you're putting me on the fence here. It looks like it's been quite a while since you were in trouble.
Yes,
Nothing since?
nothing since.
You're going to make it tough for me, aren't you? Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Can I get a motion to close the floor, please?
So moved.
Move second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
No, I meant to close the floor.
Close the floor, okay.
Yes.
Floor, right, okay. Okay, can I get a motion?
It's a tough one for me because we have
Yeah.
the rule and we have the recommendation from public safety.
But that's based on our rule,
Yeah,
so,
That's why it's here.
and that's why we're here for
Right.
this. If it was just a hard, fast rule all the time and it wasn't brought to us, that's why this is being brought to us, and that's the stopgap we put in there. So,
I think if a little time passed, I think maybe it wouldn't be quite as difficult as it is right now for us to make a motion.
that seems to be the issue, is how much time is enough time? And really, we don't have any hard and fast rule about that.
we
we
don't, but
we
I'll be
could
honest with
say-
you, in most cases, 7 years is as you know, in court law. and
Statute
that.
of limitations
Statute of
for a lot of
limitations
things
and
is
that.
7 years. So we could say it's already past that.
Correct.
motion.
I'm gonna move to uphold the appeal.
Okay.
Just a
To clarify.
clarification on the language of that motion, uphold the denial or grant the appeal?
Grant the appeal.
Okay,
Grant the-
thank you.
Okay.
I'll second.
So by that motion and then ultimately subsequently, if there's an affirming vote at village board, essentially you'd be granting the license.
The license.
Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay, just want to confirm. Thank you.
Okay. And Joanne, you seconded that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go, Lyndsey. Now, you will want to appear at the village board meeting on Tuesday.
2 seconds here.
These calendars.
June 23rd.
23rd, 24th?
23rd.
This is, yeah, we just make our recommendation to village board. They have the final rule on it, but
And then the village board will make the final approval then at that time, so you'll want to attend that meeting,
I will. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
okay? Okay, item B, consider, discuss, act on 2026, 2027 renewal of the retail alcohol licenses.
I can help.
We'll give her a second.
Yep, I got it. So these are annual renewals that, for retail licenses that expire June 30th annually. So these are the number of applications that we've received since the last month for that next renewal period. To my knowledge, everyone has been paid up in full. If they weren't, they would have been identified specifically on the application. So if there are any ones that are not paid in full, then they would be conditioned on that payment before issuance of license.
Okay, so we're all good to go, Wendy?
Everything's good then, Joe?
Yes.
All right, I'll move to approve the 26, 27 retail liquor license renewal provided in the list attached to the agenda contingent upon the approval of all the departments.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, on to item number, and I am going to group these together since this is a first time through for all of these for their approval based on our new ordinance. So I'm going to group together C, D, E, F, G, and H. Basically, we'll handle them as one motion. So with that, Wendy, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. As you previously stated, the village recently passed an ordinance implementing this new license for massage establishments. All of those listed have filed the necessary paperwork. They have paid the prorated fee. And to my knowledge, I think they've all been approved now by public safety.
That is correct.
Okay. And Chief, any concerns?
Only concern is that all the applications are filled out true and accurate,
Okay,
and all employees listed within the establishments are listed.
excellent.
Is there a way to, is there accountability for that? Like, is there any follow-up or?
Accountability will just have to take place under the ordinance that was just passed, that grants us the ability to go and conduct checks like we do with other businesses and to check their compliance with the licenses.
And the way I read this, since we haven't really had this ordinance in place before, this is kind of a first time through, so until the ordinance gets there, we can't say that the information is nay or yay, what they're providing, so it's kind of like, you gotta do this, and then it's gonna be up to public safety then to kind of go on from there.
Well, the reason I am kind of wondering where we're going with this, I thought we'd take them one at a time, and I purposely went and, I'm acquainted to about 3 of them, but the one I'm concerned about, I had complaints from constituents in even the school about a particular one. And I guess we need to pass this before we can move on. Am I right, Chief?
So I think, yeah, I'll just try to answer that too. So administratively, they have applied for the application, they have met the requirements of the application, and we don't at this point have a basis for denial because of that. However, we do have an understanding, and there's a couple of establishments in the packets that have, multiple massage rooms within their described premise, but only one licensed massage therapist identified on their application. That meets the conditions of the application, but we do know that when a license is issued, it is subject to that inspection. So much like the alcohol licenses, we can perform random checks to ensure that those that are performing massage therapy at those establishments are properly licensed, number one. And then number two, that they are adequately identified on the application. In the event that these establishments have more than one therapist working and are not listed on their approved application, then we can begin an enforcement action against that establishment, either through citation, suspension of license, or even go through the process of revocation as outlined within the code. I know the clerk's office has spent a great deal of time explaining to them that you only have one applicant or one massage therapist listed. You do realize that your premise identifies 3 or 2 massage rooms. Do you have any other therapists that are working under this establishment? They have indicated no, but they do know that they are subject to that inspection and that we will enforce the code in the event we find that there are multiple individuals working there.
Well, I'm looking at one here that has all the applications for all the therapists that are certified. None of them have more than one. Well, I should say the rest of them only have one. So you only got one here that's really qualified.
Yeah, so because they may only have one listed on the application, that does not mean that it wouldn't qualify as an establishment. So even though they only have one, that doesn't mean that they may not pick up a contractor or another employee over the course of that licensing period. So they are required to be licensed. They would need to update the clerk's office within 10 days of that employment of that additional therapist. So we're not going to necessarily deny them a license or not grant a license if they apply with the condition that they may be looking to hire additional therapists over the course of that licensing period. But they do raise a flag for us, and it would be paramount for us to make sure that they are aware that we will perform inspections randomly to ensure compliance with the ordinance. And if they fail to comply with the ordinance, look towards either citation, suspension, or revocation.
Boy, I just feel as though this thing's wide open at the moment then.
Well,
I think.
Because I know-
when you're starting, Gary, that's kind of, you have to get the ordinance in place, and they have to, so then you can go out and say, hey, you said this, and now you're gonna prosecute them. You can't say they're guilty before you have a law in the books to prosecute them, unfortunately.
Then how come this one here has all the certified people working in her place and the other ones don't? When she sent out a letter out to them saying all of them have to be certified on this paper.
Well,
and just the owner's certified now.
It's stated in there that they have to have all the massage therapists. If they say there's only one, and that's what Wendy did, was contact every one of them and saying, there's more. You sure you don't have more? Because you have more rooms. And they're saying no. Okay, well,
We better get them on inspection tomorrow.
Well, and that's just
And
it.
we very well may, I don't know.
Correct. Depends.
Not that we're putting any pressure on you,
Yeah,
Tom.
it just gives us something to start with, and then they can
It's a
go
start.
from-
It's a starting point.
I understand.
There's no. I mean, the two on here that had the multiples listed were the last two. I mean, those two, they had multiple listings. They're a couple of them I looked at, and I looked at them individually, and I think there is a couple that literally are doing it as a health thing, and they are doing it, and there is only one person doing it. So there are a couple on here that I think are that way.
Well, I know there's one that is not.
Correct, correct.
This is certainly new territory for not only you, but for also public safety, but we are also used to alcohol compliance checks, and this would fall into the same.
Well, it's headed in the right direction, there's no doubt.
Yes, sir.
I view this motion more as a procedural requirement that we're meeting so that we can start the enforcement.
Correct.
So I'll make the motion to
All right.
recommend approval of the massage establishment licenses for, was it A through
C through H.
H?
All of them.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Oh,
Any further discussion?
forgot.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion carried.
Item number 7, items for next agenda. I am sure there will be some. So, number 8, adjournment. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.